give me a moment's peace and take out the trash.
We pay taxes for people to come and take the garbage.
Hey, listen, Greenie, no more sneaking rides to the junkyard. Yeah, man, take a taxi when you want to go to the junkyard.
Hello and welcome to the Hot Trash Unlimited podcast, the podcast where me, Caleb, well, let's stop there. This is a little bit of a different episode than we usually have. This is a crossover event with the Committed Critics podcast, and I am joined by two friends of the show, Kevin and Ryan. Would y'all like to introduce yourselves?
Whoa. Ryan, you can go first.
Oh, okay. Well, hello, I'm Ryan Davis of Committed Critics. All I do is watch movies and play video games, and no one likes my very controversial opinions.
Rip. I'm Kevin Lau. I also host Committed Critics, and I am a freelance writer and filmmaker, so yeah, I just do stuff.
Well, I'm excited to learn about what some of those controversial opinions may be off air. But for the moment, we are sitting down to watch Veggietales, the pirates who don't do anything.
The heroes! They're here!
Does anyone know where the bathroom is?
We are the pirates. From the creators of Jonah, the most successful vegetable movie of all time.
She thinks we're,
heroes.
You're kidding, right? Aw, come on. How hard could it be?
Comes three heroes as cool as cucumbers.
The 2008 Veggietales movie, that was the second feature-length film from Big Idea Studios. If you want to hear the three of us talk about Jonah, a Veggietales movie, you can head over to the Committed Critics podcast. It will be linked down in the description, and listen to our episode on that. But while we were recording that, Ryan told me and Kevin about this movie, which I had just completely blacked out on and apparently missed. And so we decided we wanted to sit down and watch it. What are y'all's thoughts on the Pirates Who Don't Do Anything movie?
So basically, I watched this when it came out. It was interesting, to say the least. As a kid, obviously, I enjoyed it a whole lot more than rewatching. I noticed a lot more things rewatching it. But as a kid, this was probably one of my favorite things. I was a VeggieTales fan, and I love the Pirates Who Don't Do Anything very, very much. So yeah, this movie it's interesting. It has some different themes than Jonah. It's less biblical. Yeah.
It's definitely more allegorical.
Yeah.
It's not taking things straight from the Old Testament.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it feels like the Book of Revelations adapted, if that makes sense.
It doesn't, but I want to hear your explanation.
Yeah, I want to hear that one.
The king coming back is kind of like the rapture.
Yeah, the king definitely stands in for God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the evil pirate king, whatever, stands in for Lucifer, because he's been banished by the king, and then he tries to get his revenge.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and there is a literary tradition of Satan inventing gunpowder. And one of the things, what is his name? Robert the Terrible uses in this movie sea charges and stuff.
I guess I should say my general thoughts on the movie. Much like Larry's song after 32 verses, this movie after 32 minutes got a bit grating. If it doesn't feel as clever as Jonah, it doesn't seem like much of anything. Things just kind of happen and then suddenly it ends.
I think both this and Jonah have trouble wrapping things up because Jonah ends where the Bible story ends, but it doesn't teach the lesson they want, so they have to force in a musical number. Here, they have like a chase sequence, and then these two pirate ships are squaring off, and you think there's going to be a battle, but there isn't one.
Yeah, like the sword, they were already pushing it with having sword fights.
Sword fights that you just use to knock vegetables into the water.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You gotta love the G-rated sword fights.
This isn't Pirates of the Caribbean. It's Pirates Who Don't Do Anything.
Only use the flat of your blade.
So the general story of this movie is that they're not their actual names from VeggieTales, so I might forget them. But Elliot,
Sedgwick and George.
Yes, who are Larry the Cucumber, Mr. Lunt, and Grandpa Grape, respectively.
Actually, I think Sedgwick is Mr. Lunt.
Yes, yeah. You're right. They are working at a kind of a Planet Hollywood style themed restaurant as just, lowly waiters who are aspiring to be more. And then the 17th century calls, and they time travel back in time to help some princess of some made-up land save her brother, who's voiced by Yuri Lowenthal, from their evil uncle, who's a cyborg.
That was the wildest thing.
It's more like he has a Zord, because it's not part of his body is not robot, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, his head is just on top of a machine. But like, I still find that like that blew my mind as a kid. It was like, oh my gosh, a VeggieTale has legs and arms. He's superior to all of
Wait,
them.
how is that? How is he superior? Because all the vegetables can hold things.
I know, but like at the same time, I was just like, he can walk. He doesn't hop. But somehow hopping is faster in this world. I don't know.
He has forsaken his God-given mild telekinesis and fallen into the mechanical arts.
Look, on the bright side, he's taller than he originally was.
I guess
I think that's the whole point he wanted. He just wanted to be tall.
They should have wrote that in the script.
You know, there is like a common motif where whenever someone questions the lead trio's heroicness, they always bring up their height.
Oh.
And so maybe that's like a secret theme that got kind of scrubbed out as it was written, was that all short men are kings, or in this situation, all short vegetables.
I guess so.
Well, is Larry really, really short?
That's gonna work out for me in the long run. 5'6", let's go. But yeah, so I thought the mechanical arms and legs were just interesting, and I don't know, they don't make as much of a presence as I felt like it should, because the moment that like it should make a presence, it kind of just breaks.
Yeah, there are a lot of bizarre elements in here that are handled maybe a little like they should be played up some more, like the sentient cheese curds.
Are those cheese curds, or are they something else?
It's just like worm monsters. I don't know.
Peanuts.
They look like cheese curds, but they are worm monsters.
This is what peanuts are like in the Veggietales universe.
Maybe
Peanuts.
other food has begun to achieve sentience.
Maybe.
So these are like cheese curds, and like soon all processed foods will be like alive.
Well, hear me
Ooh,
out.
the artificial food is all evil.
So there's a line in the movie that I thought was really weird in terms of world building, where they find the sword, and Mr. Lunt's like, you can cut a can with it and still slice a tomato. And he said he saw it on TV. So did he just watch Bob or someone get cut on TV?
That's a good question. Like, that's another question. What do VeggieTales eat?
Why did
Like,
cans exist?
Are they eating out of?
Cheese curds, at least.
Well,
But,
not
like, do
anymore.
they eat like salad?
No, this is completely breaking my mind right now because I'm traveling back to the Joshua and the Big Wall episode of the show. They fight with slushies.
Yeah.
Are those slushies grape flavored? So like, would the equivalent be me going into a 7-Eleven and like finding like a human flavored
Well,
slushie?
I mean,
Like a blood. Like,
slushies can
here's
be
what blood
artificially
flavor is.
flavored, so I feel like best loophole we have.
Is juice just blood?
How do you guys think this works in VeggieTales canon? Because I'm so confused. Because the pirates are not named the same as they were in the Jonah movie. In Jonah movie, they were still Larry and Mr. Lunt and Pa Gray.
I mean, it's not meant to be a sequel. It's meant to be like its own original movie. Kind of like how they have, like, I mean, they have other, like, original kind of stories in there. Like, there's the sumo of the opera.
Yeah, but everything in the show seems to be framed around like the vegetables putting on a play. This seems more antagonistic with like the Larry the Cucumber movies. Like it's a branching timeline from the VeggieTales universe. But I did find it really interesting how these, like, why they decided to rename the characters. Why did they decide to put them in such an interesting... I don't want to say interesting. It's interesting that they made the decision. Narratively, it's not interesting that they're servers at a dinner theater. But why that was the starting place instead of just having the pirates exist in media res.
I mean, you could have just had them be regular servers in that timeline, but I think they wanted to kind of give it a modern twist, maybe. I don't know, make it... Because, I mean, that's what they did with the Jonah thing. They put them in a modern setting, but then they also kind of went back to biblical times. But at the same time, it wasn't time travel. It was just a story. I don't know, man.
Look, waiters
the
can
Jonah
be heroes.
movie asks a lot of questions, too.
Tip your waiters.
Basically,
True.
that's the rule. Tip your waiters, otherwise they become heroes.
Let them be actors. Actually, yeah, if you tip your heroes tip your waiters and treat them with respect, they'll never save the world. There you go. That's the moral of the story.
I don't like where this is headed.
VeggieTales, what have you done?
Kind of going off of that, what do y'all think about the theme here, which is kind of a more generic kids theme where it is like anyone can be a hero, but with some religious allegory tied in?
Like, anyone can be a hero. We've seen that before millions of times. But, like, it's still fun. We still enjoy it. They try to make it compelling. Like Pa Grape has the most compelling arc, I believe, because his own children don't look up to him, and he feels sad about that. And he wants to do something that makes his children actually see him for once. It's just the form of execution. It's just kind of things kind of happen, but there's no real emotional charge to it.
I'll put it this way, like with Pa Grape, like seeing his victory at the end. It's definitely like, it gives you like, oh man, I feel good, like his kids love him. With Larry and Mr. Luntz, it's just like, well, cool, they're not afraid to do stuff anymore.
They're better boyfriends now, I guess.
I mean, seeing them like, oh, Mr. Lunt overcame his laziness when he ran away from cheese curds.
Swam 92 nautical miles without arms or legs.
That was the funniest joke in the movie.
So it just goes back and forth. Like, do they have arms? Do they not? How do they hold things?
Telekinesis, man.
When vegetables gain sentience, they gain a lot more than we do.
It's the best question in the entire universe. They make jokes about it all the time.
I can't play guitar. I don't have a hands. And then you see vegetables playing guitars and other things.
Exactly.
Twippo played a guitar.
Yeah.
Twippo did play a guitar. Do you think this movie could use more music?
Yes, but not more of the music that they have. I feel like the music they have was kind of It needs more like the Jonah movie.
Like, I had no problem with some of the music. Like, I wish it had been more of them singing rather than, just like people playing over them or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember I enjoyed most of the music when I was a kid. Like, I liked the Yo-Ho Hero. I like the kind of rock remix of Pirates Who Don't Do Anything. Rock Monster has stuck in my head for years.
Oof.
For some reason. Like, I can't hear... I know there's Rock Lobster, which is what it's supposed to be a parody of, but all I ever hear is Rock Monster. I enjoy that they have a Toby Mac song at the end of it, and as a kid, Toby Mac was the greatest thing to me.
I didn't think music could get better than Diver City, but then Portable Sounds came out and it changed my life.
There was a lot of weird pop culture references. Like, there was an Edward Scissorhands joke, which I thought was really strange to put in the VeggieTales movie.
I feel like most of those come from Mr. Lunt, though. Mm-hmm. And, like, within the story, he is established to be, like, a guy who, like, binge watches TV. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it fits.
And VeggieTales has been known to do like random pop culture references that kids wouldn't obviously get sometimes, but their parents will.
Mm-hmm. That's also
hell. They made a whole Lord of the Rings movie.
No, I feel like kids even know what Lord of the Rings is.
Fair,
especially like Christian households. Lord of the Rings is
I guess
comparable to the Bible in some aspects.
I thought that was Narnia.
That both. Too. Those are the extra 7 books of the Bible.
It's like the Book of Narnia.
Catholicism, eat your heart out.
I'll say this. I enjoy this more than Jonah only, I think, because this had a happier ending to me rather than Jonah. Because Jonah definitely ends on a slightly dark point. Like, as a kid, this just, like, it hit more to me because, I was very much on the theme of anyone can be a hero. I read all the young adult books, Percy Jackson, Harry Potter, etc. He had a chosen one or whatever, but...
It was kind of like Three Amigos meets... What was... I forgot the other movie I was going to compare it to. The Three Amigos with Steve Martin and Chevy Chase, which is kind of like Seven Samurai and Bug's Life. There was another movie I was going to compare it to. I totally forgot. I should have written it down.
There's one bit near the beginning that feels very Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Where you have like... this blind restaurant patron give them a prophecy. And obviously the blind prophet is a thing throughout mythology. But I think it's more likely that Phil Vischer took that from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Which is another movie that has a weird place in like Christian pop culture. It's one of those movies that's not a Christian movie, but I know a lot of Christians who like treat it as one. So that's a possibility. But the other one was just like the simplicity in the telegraphed character arcs. And I don't say that in a bad way. I think it's fine to have like kind of simplistic character arcs in a kid's movie. It reminded me a lot of Wizard of Oz.
Oh, that's a good comparison.
Interesting.
I
would not have thought that.
Yeah. I actually have not seen Wizard of Oz all the way through, and I need to. I know bits and pieces of it. I can definitely see what you're talking about, Caleb.
I'll be honest, I haven't seen The Wizard of Oz. I've seen The Wiz.
Well, I haven't seen The Wiz, so one of these days we can both correct
The Wiz
that.
isn't real. We just wanted you to say Wiz on
you
the
watch
air.
Wizard of Oz.
Sounds good.
One line I actually really liked is it's not magic. It's Radio Shack. I don't think Radio Shack's around anymore. So, rip.
No, probably not.
So therefore it is magic.
Radio Shack's a magical place, forever encapsulated in the Pirates Who Don't Do Anything, a VeggieTales movie.
I mean, this movie's definitely a product of its time.
When the archaeologists of the future dig up this movie, they'll have a lot of insights into our culture.
It's like, wow, vegetables spoke.
It's like the people from Galaxy Quest, they don't know the difference between like fiction and nonfiction.
I really like the animation of this movie. I looked it up. Apparently they had a $15 million budget and partnered with Stars Animation to animate this movie. And the animation for 2008 actually looks kind of impressive for $15 million because this is the age of Bolt, Kung Fu Panda, the Tinkerbell movie. And those look great with a significantly higher budget. So
No, I remember this movie being very, like, I mean, I thought Jonah was pretty good animated-wise, too, but, like, this one definitely stood out. I think this is also kind of when VeggieTales animation got a little bit better, like, even with the shows.
Yeah, because Big Idea kept kind of scaring off animators. And it was always kind of a less professionally run animation studio than some other ones because it was made from 3 guys out of like their garage trying to animate. And I'd say doing a pretty good job for what they had. But when they got bought out, I feel like there was a definite smoothness to the animation that came on through. I do think they hit a limit around this time with you can only be so expressive with vegetables, especially when half the vegetables don't have eyes.
yeah, and it's you get like that's like the texture quality, like, you know, you want to keep, they still want to keep it simplistic so they don't ruin their computers, or like if they have a smaller budget on another episode, they can still do it and not have to worry about, you know, spending every penny they have. But yeah, it's still like even the water animation I was like kind of impressed by in this movie. But yeah, this is also distributed by Universal, which is, according to IMDb trivia, which is a reliable source, this is the first animated movie distributed by Universal.
Have they had many since? I'm trying to think.
They had the Despicable Me movies.
Oh, they distributed Illumination stuff? Okay.
I guess there wasn't much anything before that.
Interesting. And now DreamWorks has bought out Illumination, right? So they'd be distributing
They did?
that. I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere.
So that means DreamWorks
But,
is in
like,
charge of the Mario movie.
Yay.
Woohoo.
Look, Toads will be the new Minions. I'm calling it now.
Please, no.
I was going to do a Toad voice, but I decided to hold back and spare the
Hello! Mario! Princess!
Is that
Save the princess!
Is that what Toad? That's the voice we're doing for Toad?
Exactly, yes.
That's Toad's voice.
Except for the show, it's like, hey, Mario, go get that thing for me.
They bought them out in 2016. I don't know if they're like doing any real like control over them, or if they're just kind of letting them do their own thing and make them money.
I don't know. Universal is kind of iffy when it comes to that, because they had the whole they tried doing the Dark Universe and had too much control over it, and they kind of ruined it. So yeah, it's a coin toss for sure.
Is there anything else y'all want to talk about?
This movie was just kind of a blur. Like, as soon as the movie finished, I was writing down my notes as the movie went on, and then when it finished, it was kind of like it started to forget about it. Like there was the fun sequence of like the cannonball, Mr. Lunt accidentally shooting a cannon at another ship, and then the one-eyed pirate actually had 2 eyes. There was the donkey chandelier, which I thought was interesting, and then the candle wax falling on their noses and not burning them. All the jokes with Archibald the asparagus, is that his name?
Yeah, Archibald.
Okay, so Jonah comes back as a butler. Twippo.
He always plays the upstuck character.
Yeah, I mean, what a guy.
I think you're onto something, because I watched the movie like right before getting on here.
Yeah, I watched it this morning too.
So I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know how well it will stick with me, but like, and I talked about this on the episode Committed Critics, but I feel like out of all the VeggieTales stuff, Jonah didn't stick with me as much as some of the other of the actual episodes. And so I'm wondering if, just while the movies aren't bad and they're certainly entertaining for children, I wonder if they work best in their episode format.
Probably, because the way this movie extends itself by having random happenstances happen, as opposed to like having character motivated actions, and then they cause trouble, overcome obstacles, what? So what? It's more like the obstacles find them when they don't do anything, which keeps the characters from being motivated. It doesn't quite. It's just in the long form. It just doesn't quite work as well as it would in short form.
I mean, I find it interesting because some of the movies are still. I mean, not some of the movies. Some of the episodes are still long. Like they're at least almost an hour long. Like I know the Sumo the Opera and the Lord of the Beans episode are like almost like reaching an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I mean, they're the equivalent of a movie, but they put more money and budget into this. This is technically featured as a feature-length movie, even though it's just like a little bit longer VeggieTales episode.
I'm going to drop a screenshot in the chat. So it sounds like there's another VeggieTales movie in the works. So Phil Vischer on Twitter replied to a tweet talking about if there's any upcoming VeggieTales projects. He says there's a new TV series in production with TBN and new movie in development with Universal. I'm involved in both. According to IMDb trivia, and I guess it's actually a real thing, so there apparently a script was written for a Bob and Larry movie about how the two met and would also feature humans.
So Monsters University?
I guess so. But yeah, but apparently this is not the movie that's in production. There is a script. Phil legally cannot share the script because of contracts and whatnot.
If it's with the new animation style, I don't want to see it.
It might be.
I doubt it will be the VeggieTales in the House one. I think they've had a third redesign that's not as good as the original, but better than the
VeggieTales in the House thing disturbed me.
It's so frightening.
Oh man, I gotta look this up.
I like this top reply though, asking if it will be a Larry Boy movie or better yet, a 3-2-1 Penguins comeback. Now listen, I get that 3-2-1 Penguins was never as successful as VeggieTales, but it was fascinating. They had a country or a planet that was just Australia.
They did.
I need a 3-2-1 Penguins movie.
Yeah, just have it be like a G-rated Star Trek.
Yeah.
What if they're responsible for Bob and Larry meeting?
The 3-2-1's Penguins movie is secretly the prequel to VeggieTales. It's all connected.
What if VeggieTales is another planet?
Oh,
here's what it is. It's a multiverse. And they're traveling through the multiverse. So they bring in Larry Boy, they bring in the pirates, they bring in all the different like iterations of the VeggieTales. And then at the end they have a big, I don't know because these don't do well with finales, not battle with all of these people where they just talk about Jesus or something.
Into the Veggieverse.
Now this sounds like Teen Titans versus Teen Titans Go.
I still need to watch that.
You don't. You don't.
Speaking of controversial opinions, Ryan, my controversial opinion is that Teen Titans Go is better than Teen Titans.
Wow.
I have not seen enough of either one to have a full opinion. Teen Titans Go it works for preschoolers, but it's just kind of, it's weird. It's strangely adult for preschoolers. That's what I'm...
Caleb, you wounded me with that one. Here's how I put it. Teen Titans Go has some good jokes, but Teen Titans Go also has ruined many of these characters. I'm sorry, they've
the original
tarnished
Teen Titans
Robin's character. They tarnished Robin.
Robin and Teen Titans still exists. The Teen Titans Go movie, though, I really enjoyed
season 5.
Don't say that, Caleb.
So, okay. I think I always thought, in terms of VeggieTales and 3-2-1 Penguins canon, that the VeggieTales were lived in the kitchen of the kids in 3-2-1 Penguins. That's what I thought as a kid.
That would make sense.
Or maybe it's like, maybe it's the kids' imagination as they play with vegetables and they created VeggieTales.
And they're very religious.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's clearly established. At the end of every episode, me and Joe like to say whether or not the movie was hot trash or not, or whether if it was just good, bad, forgettable, whatever kind of general impressions of the movie are. I will say that if they had kind of leaned into the weirdness a bit more, this could have gotten to be hot trash. But I also think it's just too good to get there. I'm not saying it's a amazing movie by any means, but I think it's certainly competent. So I would just say it's good for kids. I probably won't think about it too much after this. Besides when I'm editing this. But what do y'all think?
I have obviously I have like a very nostalgic connection to this because I did watch it when I was a kid, unlike you guys. But I don't know. I enjoy this movie. Like going back, I did see a lot of the flaws or just stuff that I was like, wow, this is wow. But overall, like I'd still say like it was decent enough. Like I would still show it to kids, obviously, but like just for like a one-off with friends, if people want to just like watch something really weird for a second, yeah, it's good.
Take a shot every time Pa Greg gets sad about his kids not seeing him. I don't think it's hot trash. Like you said, Caleb, it doesn't lean into its wackiness enough to really be, as Danny Vincent once said on your show, obnoxious core. Like if this movie leaned into its obnoxious core, I think it could be hot trash. But right now, it's just kind of like it's fine. It'll entertain a kid. It won't stick with me for a while. So I'm all like I said, I watched it this morning. I'm kind of forgetting like some scenes here and there. Yuri Lowenthal was good though for the few lines he had.
It was very odd to hear Spider-Man's voice coming out of a vegetable.
It was.
See, you guys always call him Spider-Man. I say Ben 10.
Did he voice Ben 10 from the...
He's Teen Ben 10 and Sasuke from Naruto.
Oh, I didn't know he was older Ben 10. Now I gotta watch that one.
All right, y'all. Thank you for joining me to talk about Veggietales. Two times now. And I just want to remind all of y'all listening to go check out our episode on Jonah the Veggietales movie over at the Committed Critics. A lot of fun to record that, and I think it's a good listen. Brian, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram or Twitter. Always at FireURed. That's fire, the letter U, red. Don't judge me for it. I made it when I was in 4th grade.
I thought fire was blue.
Only if you're a Zula.
Oh. Well, I'm not, so. But yeah, I'm Kevin Lau. You can follow me on Twitter at ArthurKalau. That's AuthorKlau. You can also, as Caleb has said, you can follow us on Committed Critics. We're on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, all your listening platforms. We also have a sub-show, Breaking Into Cinema, which is an ongoing intro to film history and appreciation podcast. And yeah, and you can follow us on Twitter at Committed Crits. That's COMMITTED CRITS.
Be sure to go check them out. You know where to find me. You can find me here almost every week or whenever me and Joe decide to record an episode. And you can also check out All New 52, our comics podcast, me over at the Snub Club, where we talk about old movies and try to tie them into film history. And of course, you can check out Star Wars Therapy every month on the 4th of the month.
I love All New 52.
Once again, thank y'all for...
And I also love Snub Club and Hot Trash Unlimited. 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. Well, y'all, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for bringing us on.
And I will see y'all later.
See ya.
Bye.